Okay, so yesterday we have seen about the common forms of reporting. Okay, so today we'll discuss about what do you mean by reports. So reports is very different from recording, okay, because a report we can do it either orally, okay, face to face, or it can be through telephone, or also we can give reporting in the form of written form, okay. So unlike recording, we always used to do it in a written form, and it remains a permanent record, okay. So we will see what do you mean by reports. Okay, reports give a spoken or written account of something that has one observed, heard, done, or investigated. Okay, so what happened there? Sometime what happened? Yes. Okay, so sometime what happened even in a particular ward, okay, in a particular hospital, sometime what happened, some incidents happen. Suppose a fire broke out or a patient fell down from his bed. So those type of incidents, we always need to write a report, okay? So whenever we write any report, we have to make sure that we should write with the person who witnessed that incident. Suppose she have witnessed a patient she fell down from her bed, okay? So that person only, that witness only, she is the one who should write the reporting, okay. And also whenever we write anything report, we should write only which we have seen, observed. We should not write any assumptions, okay. And we also need to write down, suppose after a patient fell down from the bed, what are the measures taken, okay, suppose after that, and what is the condition of the patient, also we have to follow up. So this is according to Oxford Dictionary. Another definition, it says reports are information about the patient's, okay, either written or orally. So you must have observed when you were having duty in a hospital, after every duty shift, the staff nurse used to give a shift report to the another next duty on, like to the next staff who is on duty. So that type of reporting, it is called as a oral report, okay. So it is also called as a the change of shift report, okay. So what is the purposes of reporting? Okay, so reporting also, if you remember, recording, okay, so the purposes are almost similar. So first of all, it acts as a very important tool for communication, okay, among the various health professionals taking care of the particular patient. Or not only that, even for the, it gives us a view about the condition of the particular ward, if any incidents had happened, okay, what were the measures taken, how many incidents have occurred in a particular ward, okay. Then it also helps in showing the kind of amount of services. Then it also helps to illustrate what are the progress in teaching goals. Then it acts as an aid in studying health condition, okay, any health condition, patient health condition also we can, because time to time whenever we give a shift report, we are also giving about the progress of the patient, okay, for this particular patient, what were the treatment given during that time, so what are the further plans, what is, whether the patient is improving or his health is still deteriorating. So this also we can do through the form of reporting. It also helps in planning, okay, any future plan for the patient based on the report. It also helps to interpret the services to the public and to the other interested agencies. Okay, so these are the purposes of report. And other than this, reports also act as a legal documents. Okay, like it's how we have in recording also. So it also acts as a legal document. That's why whenever we write any incidents report, we should be very this one family, like we should be very, the thing should be very concise, should be very specific, okay, and we should not bluff or give any misinformation, okay. So what are the types of report? Okay, so we usually have type oral and written, okay. So oral we can do it during like suppose change of shift duty, transfer, while transferring a patient through the telephone, and written means it is in the written form. Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so sorry, some network disconnection. Okay. So what are the some of the common reports which we use in the hospital? Okay. So I have just mentioned some fews. Okay. So First of all is the change of shifts report. Okay, so this report is, as you can see, whenever any nurse, okay, she have finished her duty, she should give the handover or the shift report to the next staff. Okay, so that type of reporting it is done, okay, orally or and face to face. So that is a form of oral report. Okay, then transfer report, whenever we transfer any client, suppose from one ward to another ward, or it can be from one hospital to another hospital. So during that time also we used to give the transfer report. Okay, then incidents report, these incidents report are mostly, first of all it can be in the oral form. Okay, first you have to inform about the incidents, and also you have to write a written report about that incidents. Okay, incidents, so many incidents actually happen, okay, in the hospital. It can be medication error incident, or a patient fell down from the chair, okay, or from the table, sorry, from the bed. Okay, so, or like the patient might harm himself. So all those act as all those are all incidents. Okay, so whenever all those things happen in the hospital, so we always need to maintain an incident report. Okay, and I will show you the format later. And also a telephone report. So telephone report also, it is a form of an oral report, okay, which we sometimes in emergency situation, the doctor might not be available in the hospital. So during that time, what happened, we need to take care of the patient immediately. So what happens, sometime we take over the telephone report. Okay, then the doctors will give the advice, suppose what medication needs to be given. So those type of reporting, it is called as a telephone report. Okay, and we have to be very careful, especially when we take up telephone reports. So all those guidelines also I will discuss, okay, later. Then legal report means these are those legal these are reports related to any legal issues. Those comes under legal reports. Okay, so what are the things which we need to do whenever we do change of shift report? First of all, we have to provide only essential background information. So this is also very important, because at least a brief, suppose if the nurse on duty, if she is going to hand over that patient, okay, to the next duty on nurse, if it is the first time for her, okay, taking handover of that patient, so she, at least you have to give a brief background information. That is very important. Okay, who were the family members, okay, what were the previous history of the client, then who are the person you can contact in case of emergency, suppose if anything happened to the particular patient in the hospital, so whom you can contact. Okay, his family members or his other relatives. Those things are very important. Okay, identify client's nursing diagnosis. Okay, so during your shift, what were the main health problems, then whether you're able to resolve that problems during your shift, or whether the patient needs further uh, treatment related to that problems. So all those also we need to identify. Describe objective measurements. When we say objective, means something which we can measure. Suppose vital signs we can measure. Okay, so the blood, this was suppose the blood glucose level in those also we can measure. So we have to, as far as possible, we have to give objective measurements. Okay, then share significant family members informations. Okay, this is important in case of emergency, whom to contact. Okay, so at least the one of the any of the family members or close relative of the patient, we need to give the contact number. Review ongoing discharge plan. Okay, so we have to see whether there's any plan for any discharge for the particular patient, or whether the patient condition is still not well. Okay, so we cannot discharge. So all this thing we have to see. Describe instructions in teaching plan. Okay, because time to time we always give health education. Okay, so this also I think you all must have already experienced, since you have already done your health talk. Okay, so health talk actually we should always give time to the client, because there are so many things which we can, small topics which we can teach to our patients. Okay, evaluate the results. Okay, so results, it can be anything. It can be either the treatment results, be it your, if you give a simple back care to the client, whether the patient have any relief from that, or whether after giving some particular procedures to the client, whether it's improving. So all those we need to evaluate. Then we have to be very clear on priorities. This is also very important. So we have to always focus on the thing which needs the highest priorities. Okay, we should never wait waste any unnecessary chance of helping the client patient. Okay, so for that we need to be very uh, good observer. Okay, we should know how to prioritize, think logically. Okay, very critically we have to also think so that we can help the patient on time. Transfer report, these are those whenever we transfer the patient from one ward to another ward. Suppose the patient is being admitted in a general ward. So if the patient condition might deteriorate within minutes. Okay. So what happened? You need to shift the patient to the ICU, suppose to the critical unit. So those type of transferring it also we give the transfer report, or it can be from one hospital to another hospital. Okay. So what should be the information that should be included? First of all, we have to have the client's name, age. Okay, what were the doctors who are involved in the caring of the patient, what were the medical diagnosis of the client. Okay, then current health status, whether the patient is stable, he is conscious, he is oriented. Okay, whether he is in coma or he. Okay, so all those also we have to give whenever we transfer the patient. Current health diagnosis and care plan. Okay, so what were the present current medical diagnosis, so all those also, and what were the presently at what type of care the patient or treatment the patient is getting. All those also need to be uh, given. Okay, the report. Any critical assessment or intervention, so this on observation, suppose if there is any critical assessment that you have found out during your physical examination or during your monitoring of the client, so all those also you need to do. Suppose if the patient suddenly she have gone for the cardiac arrest, but luckily you have done the CPR on time, so the patient you are able to save the client. So those type of assessment we call it as a critical assessment. So that interventions also whatever you have done during that critical period, so that also you have to mention whenever you transfer. Needs for any special equipment, so suppose there are some clients who are very critical, so when you transfer them you cannot just transfer them like that. Okay, so maybe you might need some oxygen cylinder while transferring the client, you might need to put some monitor, or you might need to give some IV fluids. So all those we have to be very conscious, and we have to give this all this information. And also we have to also inform nicely, so that the particular ward where you are going to shift the patient, they should be well prepared that okay, that we are going to receive this type of patient, so this equipments we need to keep ready. So that thing is very important. Okay, that is the main reason why we have to give so much of thorough information whenever we transfer any patient from one ward to another ward, or from one hospital to another. Okay, so the next is the incident reports. So incidents, it can be anything. Okay, any incidents that you have seen, observed in a particular hospital or in a particular ward. Okay, so what are the following points that you should keep in mind whenever you write any incidents report? The nurse who witnessed the incident should write the report. Okay, describe in concise, in specific, objective terms. Okay, so and do not interpret or attempt to explain the cause of the incident. Okay, so you have to write exactly as how you have seen or heard. Okay, you should never write any assumption. Okay, and you should never give your own view. So whatever you have observed, that much only you should write. Okay, and measures taken are reported. Suppose after that patient fell down from the this one bed. Okay, what were the measures you have taken in order to help that patient? Whether you have uh, done, okay, call up the doctors, okay, examine the patient, okay, make the patients again lie on the bed. Okay, observe the patient for any injury, like it can be some skin injury, or it can be some mild, okay, like spasm, muscle spasm, all those things we have to write it down in the incident report. No nurse is blamed on any incident report. Okay, submission of report as soon as possible. Okay, so we have to submit it to the higher authority, or to suppose in a hospital we have to submit it in a to the nursing superintendents, medical superintendent, all those we have to submission as early as possible. No photocopy of the report. Okay, because all these are very legal documents. Okay, so we have to keep it very confidential. So this is one example of an employee's incident report. As you can see here, we have the date, okay, the time of the report. Okay, so this should be written by that person who is observing or witnessing. The employee name, that means the one who is writing down the report. Okay, then the date of birth. Okay, then social security number, then what is the phone number, the address, okay, the job title, okay, whether you're working as a staff nurse or a ward in charge, okay, or your uh, nursing superintendent. All those things we have to write. That is it. What is the date of the incident, the time or the start at work, then okay, then what you have to also, as you can see, there's location of the incident, suppose in which ward or in which cabin it happened. Okay, then in your own words also we have to describe the incidents in our own words. Okay, then was there any property damage, okay, during the incident? Then if there is, then you have to specify, okay, describe the damage, how much it has cost. Okay, then describe what part of the body is injured, in case if suppose, like I have given the example of a patient falling down, okay, or from the bed. So that type also we have to observe, there is any injury on the client, okay, what type of injury, okay, and in what way. Okay, then after that, can you think of anything you could have done, or how possibly we can prevent this incident? So obviously after the incidents, so we also have to write some preventive measures so that this incident, it will not happen again in the future. So we have to take some preventive tips also we have to mention. Okay, then where you're working with other co-workers were nearby to present when the incident happened. That means any other person is there with you during that time when the incident happened. Okay, so if so, then who are the person who are there near you? Then we have to write also the name of that witness. Okay, so after that we have to give your this one signature, and also you have to also mention to whom are you reporting this incident. So all this is one example of an employee's incidents report. Okay, so the next is the telephone report. So as you all know, like time to time, especially in case of emergency, like I've said, so there are some certain situation where it is not possible to, like some doctors might not be available during that time. Maybe it might not be during their duty hours. So some emergency cases might come up. So during that time, we have to take up the telephone order. Okay. So document the date, time, okay, the name of the person giving the information, and also subject of the information. Suppose it can be related to medication or related to after you have found out that the patient's blood sugar has gone up, so it might be related to insulin treatment. Okay, repeat back the information if any doubt occurs. Suppose if the patient have tell if she have told you to give this medication, so tell the doctor to spell it out, the medication name, and also you also whatever information you have received from that doctor or from any other person. Okay, you have to repeat back the information. Okay, slowly you have to repeat back so that there is no miscommunication. Okay, concise and very accurate. Then so some of the guidelines whenever you take up any telephone order. So know the state nursing council board whether or state nursing, okay, or board whether allowing or not, okay, this telephone orders. Know the agency policy, that means the hospital policy. Okay, what were the guidelines that we need to follow whenever we take up any telephone order? Do not accept order from an unknown person or prescriber. Okay, ask the prescriber to speak very slowly and clearly. So that's why whenever when they give order for any medication, we always tell them to spell out the medication name, okay, to avoid any error. Ask the prescriber to spell out, then questions. Okay, so you should not be like thinking like, okay, what will happen if I again question her about if I told her to repeat the information, but you shouldn't have. Okay, so in order to avoid any form of error later on, so better to question if you have any doubt. Read the order back to the prescriber, write the order on the physician's order sheet, and record the date, time, and sign. Okay, so whenever we sign also, then we should try to give a full signature. Okay, so these are some of the about the legal reports which I've said. Okay, so these are actually all the clients file whatever we have in hospital, those are considered under the legal report, because if anything happens, so those act as a legal documents. So what were the things that we need to do as a nurse in order to protect ourselves if there is any legal issues happen? Okay, so first of all, we should function within the scope of nursing education, practice, and job description. That means we should never try to do something which is out of our. Whenever we say job description, that means like a responsibility. Suppose I was asked a staff nurse, what are the things that I need to do? Okay, so I should not go beyond that. Okay, or try to do anything by myself. Suppose administering, even though I might know that a fever, we can give paracetamol to reduce the fever, but still we don't have the authority to do that. So we should never give any uh, medication without any doctor's advice. Okay. Hello. Okay, so the second one, it says follow the employing policy. Then we have to have a very good rapport with everyone in the hospital or who are on care of observe and monitor. So we have to be a very good observer and time to time we have to monitor. Prompt and accurate documentation is also very important. Okay, and we should make sure whatever documentation we are writing, it should be all complete. Okay, we should never give any incomplete information. Protect the clients from injury. So that's why for high risk patient we should know, okay, who are the patient at risk, suppose for falls, who are the patient at risk for harming themselves. So all those things we have to be well prepared, and time to time we have to keep them on a very high alert. Okay, even the other staff or the patient or the person involving in the patient care, then we have to observe and monitor very closely. Okay, then also we have to report all incidents involving the clients. Okay, proper delegation means delegation is like distributing of responsibilities. Okay, so before giving any responsibility to any suppose students, nurses, or to any subordinate who are, or to any other nurse working with you, so we have to know what are the things which they can do. Okay, so we have to delegate very nicely or distribute the work equal, like according to their ability. Okay, we should never give them something which they cannot do. Check any order for that client's questions. So time to time, the patient may have so many doubts or things which they need information. So we have to help them. Okay. Clinical competence is also very important. That's why whenever we work as a staff nurse in any hospital, we have to be very clinical. We have to be skillful in any of the procedure we do for the clients. So all those things we need to have to avoid any mistakes. Okay. And complete recording should be done. Okay, logically arrange, organize, and use only approved abbreviation. Okay, this also, if you remember in the guidelines of recording, never edit or delete documentation. Okay, so if you make any mistake, we can just cut down in one line, and on top of that, we can write the correct information. We should never use correction pen. Okay, clients identifying information to be written on each page. Okay, then signature should be there. If possible, we have to give a full signature. Never leave empty space, because between the entries, if you leave, somebody might keep some false information in between, and your signature is already there as you are the one recording that, so you might be in trouble later. Okay, never throw wrong entry or documentation. So or everything we should write according to the facts. So we should not give any assumption, or and you should not never manipulate any information. Okay, so this is about the different types of reports. Okay, so so we have seen about the change of shift. Okay, report. Okay, so the types, actually we have two types: oral and written. Okay, so under the oral report we have like the change of shift report, transfer report. Okay, telephone report. Then under the written we mostly have this incident report, and another one also we have all this legal reports. So do you have any question? Are you all clear with report? Yes? Yes, anyone have any question?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so I please go through the notes also. Okay, I have already given the notes. So you kindly please go through that and ask me. Okay, but most probably maybe from by next week I will conduct one class unit test on this unit. Okay, because with this I have completed this unit. Okay, recording and reporting, and these are also very important. So because as you know, like time to time, okay, in the hospital also we are maintaining so many reports. Okay, the records and reports also, so we should know, okay, what are the things we should do. Okay, what are the different types of report records. Okay. Okay, then if you don't have any questions, then I will wind up the class. Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.